All right, welcome to the Explainer. Look, if you really want to hit those huge professional goals this year, it all comes down to one thing: compelling focus. So today, we're going to break down the 5 absolute must-do steps to get you there.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a pretty wild idea, and it might even sound a little strange at first. The whole concept here is that real, powerful focus actually creates blindness. Now, obviously not physical blindness, right? We're talking about becoming blind to all that endless noise, all the distractions that are constantly trying to pull you off course.
Think about it like this. All of us, you and me, we've got this potential energy, kind of like sunlight. It's everywhere. It's powerful for sure, but it's also scattered, it's just spread out, so it doesn't really have a major impact on any one thing. But then, what happens when you take a magnifying glass and point it at something? All of that scattered light gets concentrated into one tiny, powerful spot. Suddenly, it's strong enough to start a fire, to burn right through things. And that magnifying glass? Well, that's your focus. So, what are we really talking about when we say focus? It's simple, really. It's having one single center of interest. It's taking all that scattered energy and turning it into a laser beam of concentrated power. So, how do we do that? Well, let's get into the 5 steps to make it happen. All right, step 1, and this one's a biggie, and it's an active process. We're talking about deliberate forgetting. Yeah, you heard that right. To really move forward, you have to consciously decide what to leave in the past. And the source material has this, well, it's a very vivid analogy for this. Picture a gorgeous house. I mean, absolutely perfect. But there's one problem. It doesn't have a toilet. What's going to happen after a few days? Exactly. It's going to stink, no matter how beautiful it is on the outside. And that's precisely what happens when we hold on to old grudges, past mistakes, or failures. So the point is, you have to actively flush that stuff out. And look, this is not about pretending it didn't happen or ignoring the lessons you learned. No way. It's about refusing to let the emotion of that bad feedback or that broken partnership just hang around and stink up your present and your future. And that leads us perfectly into step number 2. Because while you're forgetting the negative emotion, you absolutely have to learn from the data. Car designers are pretty smart about this. Think about it. They give you this huge, expansive windshield to see everything that's coming. And then what do they give you for the past? This tiny little rearview mirror. Your focus, your professional life should be built exactly the same way. And this just shows the perfect balance, right? Your main view, where all your attention goes, is forward. It's on your vision, your goals. The rearview mirror is just for a quick glance back. You don't stare at it, you just check it to learn, make sure you don't make the same mistake twice, and then, boom, eyes back on the road ahead. Okay, so once you've dealt with the past, it is time to lock onto your future, and that means you need a single, all-consuming vision. There's an old saying that puts this beautifully. It says, if your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. Now, in our world, in the professional sense, what's that light? It's clarity, it's creativity, it's new ideas. But if you have a double eye, a divided vision, well, that just leads to darkness and confusion. And it's interesting, the source material breaks down the word division into die-vision, literally seeing 2 things at once. And think about that. You can't look up and down at the same time, can you? You can't be truly committed to 2 big visions at once. It just splits your energy. You've got to define your one thing. But look, a vision by itself is just a nice dream, right? So step 4 is where we make it real. We turn that vision into something we can actually act on. Here's a super simple but really powerful way to think about it. Imagine a football game with no goalposts. You could have the most talented players in the world out there, running around, making incredible plays. But what's the point? It's just aimless. It's not a game you can win. So how do you build goalposts for your career? It's one simple thing. You attach a date to it. A vision just tells you what you want to do. But a goal, a real goal, tells you what by when. That deadline is everything. It creates urgency. It forces you to focus and take action. And this brings us all the way back around to our final step, step 5. And honestly, this one is probably the toughest, but it's also the most powerful. The whole secret to locking in on your main goal is to first look away from everything else. You just can't do both at once. It's one or the other. And this is that necessary blindness we talked about at the very beginning. What does it mean? It means you have to choose to ignore what your competitors are up to. You have to tune out the gossip and the useless criticism.
And this is the hardest part, you have to learn to say no to opportunities that are good, but just aren't your one thing.
Think about a knife. What's the part that actually cuts? It's the thinnest, sharpest part, the edge. To be effective, to slice through all the noise and make a real impact, your focus has to be just like that. It has to be honed to a razor's edge.
So that's it. We end right back where we started, with a single question. It's time to stop thinking about the 10 different things you could do this year. If you want real breakthrough success, what is the one thing you will do?